It's devastating to see our people being impacted.
As Navajo, Diné, our ways of life have been threatened.
We've lost so many elders, so many of our wisdom keepers. It's hard not to be angry. It's hard not to be frustrated.
Many different cultures, many different regions are suffering just as we are, trying to retain just knowledge that is so beautiful and precious and dear to us.
Our ancestors have been through so much in order for us to be here. I take it as the greatest responsibility I've ever had in my life to make sure that our knowledge keepers come out on the other side of this pandemic.
Hello, my name is Jones Benali.
Yat She'e Janita Benali, Yanishya. Hello, my name is Janita Benali.
My name is Clayson Benali. We are from the Diné Nation, otherwise known as Navajo. I've lost count. I can't remember how many people we've lost to COVID-19.
We've actually been in our own self kind of imposed isolation now since the beginning of March. And that is an effort to protect my parents, my mother, and our father, who is in his 90s.
Even my brother said that I can't run over there to help them. Wherever you go, be cautioned.
Every time one of those elders leaves this world, it's like a whole library, a whole beautiful chapter of our history, of our ceremonies, all that knowledge gone. It's not written, it's not dictated. You're not going to find it on the internet.
We lose a lot of good medicine, man. Now there's a few left.
It's hard not to be angry. It's hard not to be angry. It's hard not to be frustrated. But it is so incredibly important to carry that seed of hope within us. I take it as the greatest responsibility I've ever had in my life to make sure that our knowledge keepers, to make sure that my father and my parents come out on the other side of this pandemic.
So at this time when people are trying to social distance, it's hard to transmit that information.
We've lost so many elders, so many of our wisdom keepers. And so we want for the youth to, of course, grieve at our losses, but also find ways to be the hope for continuing to carry on that traditional knowledge.
This is valuable, this is sacred, and they're going to preserve it.
I think that we're kind of using whatever platform we can to catch the youth's attention, to remind them, hey, culture is cool. Culture is amazing. These traditions, these sciences is amazing.
Hey there, we are doing a medicine walk today and we're going to pick some medicine as 3 generations.
We're blessed because actually it's been this amazing time that my children are focused on learning our culture from their grandfather. He's a medicine man.
I teach my kids. I give you my life. That way you teach the kids who they are.
We go on medicine walks either in the desert or in the forest. I try to make it a multi-sensory experience. We walk into the forest and I'm like, what do you see that you can eat? What do you see here that's medicine?
My grandfather, my uncle, my mother, they are medicine people. They learn. That's their cultures. I learned a lot of ceremony and a lot of medicine. Then now I teach my kids. They learn and they help me too.
One organization that I volunteer with is called K'e, which means family. K Glottal E. K'e Relief Project is bringing water barrels out to different families that don't have access to running water. And we're going to be doing a run up to the res, going to be bringing supplies, and then we're going to load up some barrels for some families that are running low on supplies that don't have a lot of support. You're such a good helper. So this is what love looks like. This is hard work, definitely has its own rewards, you know, trying to protect and keep our elders safe and make sure that they don't have to leave home. Let's get them up to the families that need them.
What is keeping our elders warm, what is keeping our elders with nutrition and shelter are the amazing volunteers who are out there doing it. It's devastating to see our people being impacted not only by this pandemic, not only by this virus that exists, but by the lack of infrastructure, which allows for us to even have a chance to support ourselves.
The reservation, the way it's established, was established by the Department of War. And if you think of what a prison looks like, you know, the concept of a reservation is here's wasteland that we can move a population onto and control them as a resource.
I think this pandemic has put a spotlight on Indigenous nations in America. We have spent hundreds of years being invisibilized. And now, because of this perfect storm, people are waking up and they're realizing, oh, wait, Native Americans still exist in America? Oh, and they're dying?
It's kind of disheartening, you know, when you are the foundation of this great nation, you know, and oftentimes you're ignored or marginalized, or people just categorize you as something else, whether it's a pandemic of climate change and how that's affecting our communities directly, whether it's a pandemic of exploitation of our natural resources, whether it's the pandemics from education, from healthcare, all these different things that we're plagued by today. We haven't given up. We are still here. And that's where that resilience is. The sun is just now starting to rise, just offering my morning prayers and thinking of our family members, a lot of our relatives that are going through hardship. And
this breath that we have is that it's a gift from our ancestors. And our ancestors have been through so much in order for us to be here.
As Navajo, Dene, our ways of life have been threatened and are, I don't want to say near the brink of cultural extinction, but that's what's happening throughout the world. Many different cultures, many different regions are suffering just as we are, trying to retain just knowledge that is so beautiful and precious and dear to us.